Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Elif Bayram. I'm a registered architect in the United States and in Turkey, and I am the founder of AREQuestions.com, which is a platform that has practice questions and video lectures for ARE exam candidates. Today, I want to talk to you guys about how to start your ARE journey. So let's begin. I started my ARE journey in 2018 and finished them at the end of 2019. So in this video, I'm going to list step-by-step strategies that I think would be best if you are starting your exams right now. So as you know, these exams are created and run by the non-profit organization called National Council of Architectural Registration Board, which people usually refer as NCARB or NCARB. NCARB has a booklet which they called Architectural Registration Exams Guidelines, ARE Guidelines. I think that is the best starting point to start this process. So number one, start with the ARE Guidelines. So this handbook is packed with very useful information, including a good introduction to the exams, and it lists 6 different exams. It has sample questions, content areas per each exam, and at the end, it has a reference matrix, which is, in my opinion, the most useful part of the guidelines. As you know, we have 6 exams: practice management, project management, construction evaluation, programming analysis, project planning and design, and last but not least, project development and documentation. So each one of these exams have their own dedicated section in the guidelines, which tells you how many questions you are going to get for this exam. What are the content areas? So this is what I recommend. First, choose the exam you want, and then go to the guidelines, find the exam in that guideline, read the portion of that exam super carefully, and then go to the reference matrix. Reference matrix is where NCARB tells you they refer their questions or they base their questions onto. I don't know how much I can emphasize that, but I think this is a great thing that NCARB sharing with us, because we know that question writers has to have some backup, has to have some books that is going to support their questions and the reasoning behind their questions. Of course, NCARB doesn't share all the questions they ask with us in the exam, or we don't know their reasoning or explanation, but the more you study these reference materials, chances of you passing these exams is getting higher, because the question writers are also taking the questions or the information they use to create the question from those reference materials or books. So this is a great tool for you, and I cannot recommend this enough to check out the reference matrix. Now that you have an understanding of what are the question types, how do you schedule your testing, and what are the objectives or content areas of the exam you are taking, now you need to go to the NCARB's website and log into your account and check out the demo exam. So NCARB demo exam is exactly what you will see on the test day. So go to the demo exam and work on it. Try to understand the tools that you have so you can be prepared for what is coming on the test date. After that, I think the third one on my list is to join NCARB community and ARE Facebook groups. There are multiple groups on Facebook that you can join. I really like the one that Michael Krisica created. It has the most members. It's called ARE Facebook group, so you can join that one. So try to find a few different communities, different platforms where you can learn from the experience of others. In my first week of preparing for an exam, I was always going to the NCARB's community page and reading entire posts, like all of the comments from the first to the last, and I was taking notes while doing that. If there's a repeating idea that is thrown out by too many people, I was writing it down. Try to be careful when you are reading posts online though. I think this applies to the rest of social media in life too, right? when you are seeing something on social media, you should always keep in mind that it's a snapshot of that moment. You can never have the full story, but you can have an idea. So keep that in mind, that you don't know the full story, but still read the post and try to learn from other people's experiences. Testing for ARE exams can take a long time and the costs add up. It can get very pricey. I probably spend $10,000 in within 2 years of studying for my exams. I bought a lot of books, I bought a lot of reference materials, third-party practice materials, so it add up. It will add up for you too. So I did not ask anyone to help me, but I think it was a mistake. So go ahead and ask your boss, talk to your boss, and ask them if they can purchase some of the material for you, if they can purchase some of the books for the office library, and if they can pay for the third-party materials, and more importantly, if they can pay for your exams. If they can get you a few seat credits every year or every 6 months, that will be perfect. Or I know some offices pays for entire testing experience, which is amazing, obviously. Do not skip that and do not be shy. Ask for it. If you don't ask, they're not going to give you that, and it's going to add up, and spending money adds onto your testing stress. So releasing that tension might be good for you. Before you start studying, I think there is a few more things that I would like to mention so you know what you are dealing with exactly. I believe that setting the right expectation is very important. When you set the right expectation from the get-go, it reduces the risk of disappointment and it increases your endurance throughout the process. Because when you know what you are getting into before you get into, during the process, it adjusts your patience level. So starting this process, knowing that this is more likely gonna be a marathon than a sprint, is gonna give you a lot more patience throughout the process, and it's gonna reduce the stress level, which is very important because this can easily get very stressful for many of us. So set the right expectation from the start. So how are you gonna do that? I am a person of numbers and data. NCARB has a great tool called NCARB by numbers. Every year, NCARB releases this document explaining how the year before went in numbers. In 2021, 16,185 people tested, and only 3,418 of them completed the ARES. 40,944 divisions are taken in 2021. This means the total number of exams that are taken in 2021 was 40,944. And average pass rate was 55%. Another important data is time to complete these exams takes 2.7 years in average. So 1/3 of the test takers spend more than 4 years, and 1/3 of the exam takers spends less than 2 years. So that's why I said this is more likely be a marathon, not a sprint. I know there are people out there who are suggesting that these exams can be done in, I don't know, less than 6 months, less than 3 months, whatever, which I have no argument against. If you have done it, congratulations. I wasn't one of those people. So I am not going to suggest people to rush this process because I know the risks. I have been hearing a lot from other people also who have rushed their process and scheduled their exams without properly studying and failed and never come back, or it took them years to come back. But keep in mind, my methods are not the only working methods. There are different strategies out there. People are doing different things and they are succeeding or they are failing. I am aware of all of that. All I'm saying is, in my opinion, if you know what you are getting into in a better way, and if you base your understanding more on the numbers than the stuff that you read on social platforms, you are going to have a more realistic approach. I lost that realistic perspective by the end of my exams, and it extended my testing process for another 10 months for no reason. I started testing and sticking to my guidelines that I'm listing you guys here, and I passed 4 exams in 6 months, and I felt super confident and super good about myself. But then I panicked and I said, within the next 2 months, I have to finish the other 2 exams and be done under 6 months, blah, blah, which was not very smart, to say the least. Because the last 2 months I rushed myself so hard for no reason. I skipped the materials, I skipped my methods that was working for me. I didn't use any of them. I just thought that I can outsmart the process, or I can find a shortcut to finish it, and I lost 8 months to that genius idea. So that's why I'm telling people don't do it, because when you fail, since the hype was too much, the crash is also too deep. So you hype yourself, you pump yourself that, oh, I'm gonna be done, that's easy, that's quick, all that, and then when you fail, you crash so bad. But if my expectation was like, you know what, these last 2 exams are the hardest, I'm gonna take my time, I'm gonna study properly. If I need 3 months, if I need 4 months, if I need 6 months, I'm gonna use that, and then I'm gonna take the exam knowing that I might fail. That's part of the process. I don't think my failure will crash me that hard. So don't do that. Your well-being, your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your personal happiness, your family's happiness is above all of that, is beyond passing some stupid exams. You have so much responsibilities. You have kids, you have jobs, you have significant others, you have a life, you have parents that you need to take care of maybe. So you're already doing a lot probably at this time in your life. You don't need that extra pressure to finish some exams in some imaginary deadline defined by a random guy online that you don't know personally. You don't know their circumstances. Yes, maybe they passed 6 exams in 6 months, but you don't know their circumstances. You don't know their experience. You don't know where they got the education from. You don't know if they studied a full year before starting testing. Yeah, that happens. And people do not disclose everything on social platforms, like I said. So take everything precautiously, okay? Do not believe everything you read or see. But let's continue with a few more questions that I get very often. One of them is, in what order should I take my exams? I think the order should be PCM, PGM, CE, and then PA, PPD, and PDD. I recommend starting with PCM, PGM, and CE because those exams have the least amount of study material. Also, again, when you look at the data, according to NCARB, PCM and CE are the exams that people passed faster. 74% of the people passed CE at their first try. And as for PCM, 65% of the candidates passed PCM at their first day. So I would start with PCM and PGM. Why? Because PCM and PGM share a lot of content, more than they share with CE. So those two can be combined and studied together. So before I go, I want to answer one last question. It says, how many hours a day I should study? That's a very personal question that you should ask yourself before you start your journey. How many hours you can spare throughout your day, and what times are those? And I think after that, what's more important is to be consistent about how many hours of study you are putting every day. I was doing like 5 to 6 hours every weekend day and 2 to 3 hours every weekday. So that adds up to being 25 to 30 hours. I think 25 to 30 hours total is good, but do not overwhelm yourself with like 30 hours study the first week. Start maybe even 15 hours. Maybe do only 1 hour every weeknight the first 2 weeks. I don't know, 5 hours over the weekend. So that's gonna get you to 15 hours. And start small and build your way up to 30. And I guess that's all for now. Please comment below and ask me your questions. Subscribe this channel and go visit my website, arequestions.com. I have a bunch of practice materials and some video lectures. So congratulations again on starting your ARE journey, and I hope you become very successful, pass all of your exams on your first take, and have a very, very painless testing process. You can absolutely do it. A lot of people are doing it. You have all the tools you need to pass these exams. Do not listen to anyone who tells you otherwise. So I really wish you all good luck. And I'm praying that all of you guys pass all of your exams at your first take and experience the least painless process during your ARE journey. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye bye.